Good evening. The February 4th special called meeting of the Dickinson County School Board is now in session. For the record, I'd like to recognize that all of our school board members are present, in addition to Tanya Baker, Board Clerk, Scott Mullins, School Board Attorney, and Mrs. Robinson, Division Superintendent. At this time, I invite you to please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Board members, we have the agenda for tonight's meeting. Are there any other changes to the agenda, Mrs. Robinson?
Yes, sir. Good evening, board members and Mr. Chair. We would like to propose that we move public comment to after the review and execute a comprehensive agreement for the construction of a new elementary school. In that manner, the public will be able to make any comments after they've heard the presentation. And I believe that Mr. Ellswick is on a time constraint and will need to leave us a little bit earlier this evening. So we just want to make sure that we're not a hindrance or the weather or anything else that way. So we just propose that change.
Do we have a motion to approve the agenda with the proposed change?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor, please say yes.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Our next agenda item is a discussion to review the comprehensive agreement for the construction of a new elementary school. Mr. Scott Mullins.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This comes about after many months of meetings and discussions. I look back today, and we started back in July of 2020 doing design work, entered into an agreement for the interim agreement, and we've had several meetings where this has been a topic of discussion. Last meeting with the Dickinson County Board of Supervisors, they reviewed the comprehensive agreement. I would basically just like to echo what Mr. Phillips, the county attorney, said. We feel like we appreciate their help. They had their legal team, Mr. Freddie Mullins, Mr. Scott Sexton, Bud, reviewed the document. Changes were made. And so we appreciate them working with us, and I do believe that with their help, we made the comprehensive agreement a better agreement, and thereafter, just appreciate the Board of Supervisors supporting it to move forward. I guess the other thing that I would like to say is that thanks to Quesenberry, because of all the changes that the Board of Supervisors team was making. They were there working with them hand in hand, a lot of trust, a lot of goodwill, and just appreciate the way, the approach they took with us in those negotiations. And so I think I'd like to just turn it over to Mr. Curtis Ellswick to briefly recap and then tell us what it is we're doing tonight as we go about signing the comprehensive agreement.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity to be back in front of the school board to give an update on the elementary school. As Mr. Mullins has stated, the main focus of tonight is to discuss the comprehensive agreement, and we're here to answer any questions you may have. To back up a little bit, as Scott mentioned, Quesenberry's was selected as a design builder back in the summer of 2020. You entered into an interim agreement with them for design work and some due diligence efforts. That's what we've been working on together, along with representatives of the school system for the past several months. We're at the point where design is complete and the due diligence is complete as well. And so we have drafted a comprehensive agreement, otherwise known as the construction contract. And then it has been vetted by the school system's legal counsel and legal counsel of the county. As you know, the Board of Supervisors voted and provided their consent to execute this contract. And so we have presented the final version of that contract with comments and concerns addressed to you. And we're here to answer any questions you may have about that agreement. But we are here to request that the school board vote to approve executing the agreement so that we can go to the next phase of the project, which is construction. So with that, I'll answer any questions that you may have.
Curtis, to be clear, if we execute this tonight, then we would have utilities relocation would be the first thing that we would be doing.
Well, the first thing we're going to do is have a meeting tomorrow and with Questenberry's and their team and a whole lot of people. That includes AEP, testing firms, to kick it off. But the first work you'll see is, and I'm going to defer to Abe a little bit if I get this wrong, but they've got to put up fence and security measures around the site, so to block off construction from school operations. And then after that, yes, it will be relocating utilities. There's some sewer line work, sewage drainage work that has to be done. And then they'll be working on building the building pad. In essence, that'll be the first segment of work. We also have to get AEP involved. We have to cut them or they have to cut themselves a work order because they have to relocate a portion of the primary electric service. So that's work they're going to do in coordination with the work that Questenberry's is doing. So, Abe, if there's anything you want to add, feel free. But
No, I think that sums it up. So basically start with utility relocation, get the pad subgrade, then we'll fill right back in with that with building construction. But we'll have a pre-construction meeting tomorrow, go over that in some more detail, hopefully answer any questions that you have. I think Kurt sums it up pretty well.
thanks.
We talked briefly, I think last month, about reaching a point of, you could say exactly how big and for what dollar. Have you reached that point at this time? Are we there?
We're there. Yeah, this agreement, and the details are in, there's a lot of details in this agreement, but we had to build, per the contract with the Corps, it had to be a little bit, a minimum size of 61,000, and I can't remember the exact number, but right now we're at over 63,000. So you've met your commitment to the Corps. And we've locked into a guaranteed maximum price of $21,611,600, which has been the number all along. And that's for design, construction, building, site, everything. And then, of course, we have furniture and some other stuff outside of that the school system and Skanska will work on together.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Curtis, could you maybe tell the board a little bit about who we will be seeing day in and day out here on the job site and his past experience with Skanska and with us?
Well, you will have, and Abe can add to this too, because that's his team will be here full-time, but he'll have a full-time superintendent on site. He'll have a project manager that will be here. I'm sure he'll probably be here himself and have some other team members, so there will always be someone from Questenberry's here when any construction is going on. And then Skanska will have representatives. Tim Burge, he was the person we had on site for this school. He will be back and be on site working with Questenberry's. We'll have Brandon Taylor, which I think you've met, from my team, and you'll see my face every once in a while too. But there'll be a whole team of people, and Abe, if you want to add anything to that. But
Now, we can go through that tomorrow too in our pre-construction meeting, but Randy Carter will be our superintendent. He's from just over the hill there in Pound. He'll be the day-to-day guy here. I'll be the senior project manager, and we'll just kind of have a mix as we go. But we'll go through introductions tomorrow on the roles and responsibilities, and should have a pretty good path forward.
And I just wanted to say, for those of you who weren't on the board when we were constructing Ridgeview, Tim basically lived with us for, I can't remember, it seemed like an eternity of time, but Tim is an excellent communicator, and we're excited that Skanska was able to bring him back for us to work with, and we've worked with Brandon quite a bit, and very confident in Brandon's abilities. And those will be the day-to-day guys, I guess, that will be here. Curtis, could maybe you tell the board about monthly, what, when the school board has meetings, what you intend to bring back to them, and how we'll proceed with making sure we're communicating with the board and the public about construction?
Sure. We'll continue to do the monthly report that you all have seen, and of course, there'll be a lot more pictures since construction would be ongoing, but Tim and Brandon would be here to present every month, and we'd have representatives from Questenberry as well, so I think we'd be presenting as a team, an update on the construction that's taken place, what we're looking forward to in the near future, and providing an update on the budget. We still got to procure furniture and technology and all that, so we'll continually update the board on the progress and ensuring that we're still on schedule and in budget, in essence. And you're right about Tim. Tim has already been looking for a place to stay here in Dickinson County, so as you say, he will live here for the duration of the job. And he likes going to football games and rooting on Ridgeview, and you'll see his face a lot.
Is there any more discussion?
That's one of the things that are keeping you up at night right now, in regard to this project. Other than I know your bids, the final bids don't come back to you till the night, so I know so outside of that, what's keeping you up?
Getting started. We're ready to go.
Schedule.
The schedule. It's a tight schedule. We're in the middle of winter, so the quicker we can get out there and start getting going, and there's going to be things that come up. We're just going to have to work through them. I mean, this is what we do. We've been doing this for 75 years in Southwest Virginia, so we're ready to roll our sleeves up and get our hands dirty and start building this school for you guys.
Any more questions or discussion with the board? Thank you.
Thank you
Is
all.
there a motion to approve the comprehensive agreement and authorize the division superintendent?
Mr. Chair, I think that perhaps we were, and maybe I didn't understand the agenda, but I thought perhaps we were going to, I see no one in the crowd, and I don't know if anyone's calling in, but originally we talked in terms of having public comment and then the vote. But if, that's purely a board prerogative.
Would we have to amend the agenda again?
No, I mean, it's completely up to the board. There's no requirement to do it either way. If there were lots of folks out, or we might take a different approach, but I'm fine if the board wants to stay with the agenda.
Are we able to open up the phones just in case?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
There may be or may not.
Yes, sir.
It's the chair.
We had public comment. I'd just like, if any of our public would like to call in and speak during public comment, the telephone number is 835-1620, 835-1620. And Mr. Wallace, if you'll let us know if we have any phone calls.
While we wait, you want me to read the guidelines for the public?
Please. Thank you.
A period of time for public comment will be designated on the meeting agenda during which the public may comment on issues related to public education. The Dickinson County School Board believes that the citizens of the county should be heard and that this is an acceptable format for receiving public comment. After the public comment section of the meeting is closed, the public shall not be allowed to participate in general board member discussion regarding agenda items. Public participation with the board members regarding agenda items can be disruptive, and the practice is prohibited by Robert's Rule of Order. It is the desire of the school board to treat each member of the public fairly and equally. Allowing one individual to participate while excluding others is unfair. The board may hold such public hearings as may be necessary to allow the public to more fully express their concerns, or the board may place the public comment section of any meeting at the end of the meeting to allow additional public comments. While we do not wish to restrict the free expression of opinion, we feel that certain restrictions may be necessary so that order and reasonable standards of decorum may be maintained. We ask that the following standards be adhered to. The speaker will be recognized by the chair. Each speaker will be limited to 5 minutes. Speakers will refrain from the use of vulgarity or profanity and will avoid negative or embarrassing comments directed toward specific children or students. Board members shall not respond to issues presented by speakers unless clarification is necessary. Matters of concern raised under public comment will be referred to the proper official for investigation and future board consideration if necessary.
I see our timekeeper is, Mr. Setzer is here, and again, for the public, the number is 835-1620, if any of our public would like to call in for a comment. Mr. Wallace, any phone calls? We'll wait just a few minutes more. Again, 835-1620, and I know that it's scrolling also on our viewing. Mr. Chair, I don't believe there's any more calls. There are no calls, is that correct? Thank you.
Okay, brings us down, is there a motion to approve the comprehensive agreement and to authorize the division superintendent to sign all the necessary papers?
I so move.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
My vote is no, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, motion carries. Do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting? So moved, Mr. Chair.
Second.
All those in favor, please say
Aye.
yes.
Aye.
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 The meeting is now adjourned.